Imagine the world before the internet. No Google to answer your queries, no Amazon to deliver your groceries, no Uber, no Facebook, no Twitter. Imagine you were in business before all that, and someone told you that there was a new technology coming that would disrupt your world. Now the same thing is happening all over again, but this time it's far more powerful and it's called the blockchain. As Arvind Krishna from IBM said, blockchains increase the speed of capital in the same way as the internet increased the speed of information. Blockchain is not just one technology. Think of it as the anchor that can tie together advances in other technologies such as artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and building information modelling. Blockchain enables greater trust, increased automation, and the new token economy. Bitcoin is a self-regulating digital currency. It doesn't need a central bank in charge. It uses a blockchain, which is an immutable ledger of who owns what. Every time a block of data is transferred, another block is added to the chain. Like the DNA in every cell, a complete copy of the blockchain is held by the entire network of users. So, if you try to cheat the currency, spend what isn't yours, everyone else would know and be able to block the fraudulent transaction before it is recorded. The technology can be used to transfer everything of value.
I think the first thing to get across, it's all about sharing data, which is the most important thing for any organisation. And blockchain is the future for sharing data, and particularly in a secure, trusted way. What we're moving from is a traditional world to a data-driven world. And blockchain is what captures the data and allows you to share the data.
Entrepreneurs have already started using these new technologies. People are seeing the effects in industries such as financial services, clearing and settlement, supply chains, international payments, compliance, insurance, legal ledgers, and even identity and voting. And now, PropTech.
I really see the growth of PropTech has come alive this year particularly. I'd use the example of about 2 weeks ago there was Future PropTech, which is a good event that takes place in London, and it's in its 5th year. 5 years ago it was literally 2 men and a dog. This year those companies that were exhibiting the first year are now proper businesses. The point is that Flex isn't going away, Flex is here to stay. How you implement it is going to be down to those landlords and down to the occupiers about how they want to use space. We're seeing an increase in clients asking for new space in central London. We have a 100,000 square foot opportunity for a technology client, and they've asked for 30% of that space to be flex.
Imagine now buying a car where you've got no service history, you've got no ownership history. The car that you're buying, you've got to inspect it, you don't know how well it's being driven. That car is worth less than a car that comes with full service history, and you can see who's owned it, what they've driven it like. Now you've got black boxes from insurance companies that make sure that they know where the car's going, what speed it's going at, and the intelligence within a car tells you how things are wearing out and when you need service. So the value of cars has gone up second hand. And what have we got with buildings? We've got a building where you buy it, and the first thing you have to do is send a whole load of surveyors in there to actually survey what they've got, what you've got. You don't even know what you're buying.
Blockchain can also be used to execute transactions by what are called smart contracts. Could this lead to computers executing contracts with no need for lawyers and courts? People are starting to talk about the phrase, code is law.
People often say, especially lawyers say, that smart contracts are neither smart nor are they contracts. They're not smart because they don't think for themselves, and they're not contracts because they're not contractually binding. They started to say that code is law. In other words, you don't need lawyers and courts to enforce contracts. You can write a contract where if somebody doesn't pay, then automatic enforcement happens. But I think it's all going to go wrong. I think that the idea that computers can enforce contracts rather than judges and courts just won't work. And it won't work because you can't predict human behaviour.
Despite these issues, blockchain technologies can transform ACE industry by improving design, project management, supply chain, payment, safety, building management, energy, dispute avoidance and resolution, and funding. By capturing all of the critical information in a development project from the very beginning and continuing through the life of the building, this creates what is known as structured data. In other words, information captured in the blockchain that can be used to drive business and artificial intelligence and create additional value for the owner of the building.
The owners of assets, real estate assets, if they put their information into the type of receptacle that we want to use, which we call tokenisation, if we can put the information into a usable form, then that will create additional value for the owners of the asset.
Tokenisation, I think, is really interesting. I've heard a lot about it. There's a number of different solutions coming on the market. You've also got IPSX, which is not tokenisation, but is creating a fund structure and a market to create that liquidity within the liquid asset class. I think the challenge is you need volume in this space, and until lots of people start putting buildings onto these tokenised platforms, it's going to take a while. My other challenge is around, again, it's the piece around illiquidity. If you look at what happened after the referendum, everyone pulled their money out of real estate retail funds because they could. If that happens again, I'm not entirely sure what the impact is around tokenisation and how that works. I do believe it is something that will form part of the future of the real estate investment world, but we've got a bit of a way to go.
The owners of assets, they want to insure the building, sell the income stream from parts of the building. If they want to change the use of some or part of the building, they've got the information at their fingertip. And it's the way in which those events are managed and charged for and marketed that can be arranged by the use of smart contracts.
Understanding the power of the new technologies is the key to unlocking hidden value in real estate assets. You need only look at the way in which the internet is destroying high street value, for example, to realise the disruptive power of all of these technologies when they're used together. Digital disruption at the Bartlett Real Estate Insitute is about helping owners of real estate assets to understand the power of these disruptive technologies and to harness them in a positive way which increases rather than reduces their value.